So DCM, what else can cause it other than legumes in the diet? Like, what are other potential issues that could be causing this? Well, see, that's part of the problem with the recent study that the FDA did was they only went and looked at dogs eating grain-free food. They didn't look at dogs eating your commercial diets that are incredibly high in cereal grains and lower, than 23% protein and down around 10% fat, which is the complete opposite of what a dog should be eating by nature. The other leading cause of DCM, obesity. The bigger, the fatter the dog gets, the harder it is for that heart to be able to keep up and pump enough blood for the rest of the body for what it needs. And so anytime you get obese and you have an overweight dog, you're putting its heart at risk. And that's the unfortunate thing about this study on DCM is it doesn't address, 70% of all dog food sold has grain in it, and they did not look for dogs eating those diets. Now, even though they didn't look for dogs eating those diets, 10% of them were still on grain-based foods. And so just because your dog's eating a grain-based food doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. If you're feeding your dog a cheap dog food full of grains and they're overweight, there's a good chance they have some heart issues. In fact, almost 88% of the dogs on the first study that the FDA did had some sort of pre-existing condition, whether it be a food allergy, atrial fibrillation, or some other genetic issue that would have put them in line to have to be more likely to have a heart issue. And so when you're trying to figure out what am I doing, is it safe? Look, most likely you're probably in fine shape, but at the end of the day, if you're feeding a dog food that's incredibly high in carbohydrates and starches and your dog is overweight, you probably need to make a change to a higher protein, higher fat diet. And that's why we make our ancient grains diets, and they are all 28% protein, 16% fat, and do a fantastic job. And so if you're concerned and you just don't know what to feed, and you're feeding a dog food that's got 8 different legumes in it, or a dog food that's got 9 different cereal grains in it, and it's under 24-25% protein, you probably do need to make a switch and give it something that has a little bit more opportunity to help the heart.